What up, you guys?
What up, No Meat Geeks?
It's been such a long time, and we just wanted to say sorry that we haven't been able to really post much. We've both been getting slammed.
Yeah.
For school.
Understatement.
It's getting real now. So, after you pass those first few classes, then you're like, oh my god, when is this all gonna end?
Yeah. So today our video is gonna be kind of about ATI.
ATI, the one thing that we all hate. I'm gonna tell you right now, these things are like your Bible, your diary, whatever you believe in. This is just something that, these books, I highly recommend that you purchase them. Although they are on the ATI website under the resources on ebooks, you can download them as a PDF. I am more of a, I need it in my face so I can write down and highlight, so I don't know, whatever works best for you guys. And
having these, just makes it a lot easier, because even on the website, it's like you have to minimize and then like make it bigger. It's just really hard. You can't go back and like bring this to work if you're one of those people that work and go to school. And I took my critical care of adult with critical illnesses. That was my class. I just ended up taking the med-surg ATI. Before this, there is the fundamentals ATI.
No, well, it depends really on your school. My school, the way we do it is, for example, we have fundamentals broken up into 2 semesters, 8-week semesters. And so what we take fundamentals 1, fundamentals 2. You don't really take your first proctored exam until you're in med-surg 1. So when you're in med-surg 1 or adult healthcare 1, then that's whenever you take fundamentals. So you kind of you have to take that class, and then once you're in another class advanced from that, you take the proctor that was the class before, if that makes any sense. With his, it's just a little bit different. WGU runs their school a little bit different from Chamberlain, so it just depends on your school and how they formulate this, or even if they have ATI. Some people do the HESI, ours fortunately does the ATI.
And honestly, the ATI is kind of hard at first because
it's intimidating.
Yeah, everything seems right. Everything seems.
That's what this video is really going to be about, is how we got the scores that we got. I personally got a level 3 on my fundamentals proctored, which translates into our grade book as a which translates into our grade book in our school as 100. So ATI is basically graded on a 1 to 3 level. So it depends on the topic that you're doing and the range that they choose from. The harder the exams get, the harder the range gets.
And me, my med-surg, I made a level 2. If you go to WGU, then a level 2 is what you need to pass the class. Now her school, if you don't do well on the test, you still have a chance to pass the class?
Yeah, you still have a chance to pass the class, but
my school, it's high stakes. Yeah. So you fail the exam, you fail the class. That's all we had. So I think you can take it up to a max of 3 times before you have to retake the whole course over. Luckily, I got a 66.7 on my test, and that translated to a 2. So that just kind of tells you what the ranges are at.
Oh. Message book, like, do you guys see how thick it is? They have different editions. The newer edition's a little thinner, but not much of a difference. He said his level 2 is what you need to pass the class. Ours is more of a 12% weighted grade that is applied out of 200 points onto our grade book. So
we kind of gave you a long intro, but we're going to run through how we studied for this real quick. Test is over this, so it's, how thick this shit is. So as Mon suggested, I've read through each one of these chapters. At the end of each chapter, they have practice questions, 5 or 6 practice questions.
With the rationale, so you can't go wrong with that.
So not only does this give you a review of the chapter, but by taking all of these questions over and over and over, you get a really good sense of how they ask the questions, or even, and how they try to trick you on.
Or even like what's going to be on the exam. Another trick I gave him, and something that I did as well, they have these on ATI, they're called like the practice proctored assessments, and they sometimes have like 2 or 3 different editions. Like, when you take those, I strongly recommend you just to take them. Don't use any resources. See where that knowledge is at, and whatever score you get, don't let it discourage you. I got a 66 on my practice one, and they do ours in school to make sure you're not using any other resources. And depending on what you missed on your review that you get printed out from your practice assessment and even your proctored one, it tells you what you need to improve on. And so me getting that low of a 66 kind of helped me out to understand, okay, this is what I missed on, this is not what I'm understanding from that fundamentals levels point of view. I mean, 66 and 80 is a big difference.
And don't just read the rationale. Go back and read that chapter. The chapters are only like 10 pages, 8 pages. Just reread the chapter. That way you're re-ingraining that into your brain. That way and read the rationale for each question, each question that's wrong.
Yeah.
Because they will bring one of those questions that's wrong and implement that into another question.
Yeah, it's like they kind of like use that topic and reword it, right? Did you feel like that? You saw a lot of the same diseases and maybe even similar questions that are trying to get to the same point, but they completely switch up the words but still have the same idea behind it.
It was like 90 questions.
No, I thought you said it was like 100.
It was 100.
It was 100.
It was 100 questions. We had I think an hour and 20 minutes to do 100 questions.
And that timer will kick you out.
Yeah, I had about 5 minutes left when I finished up the test. And you're like, you get to question 40 and you're like, damn, like you really don't know where you're standing at. You know, you can't go back.
At all.
So just take your time, trust your studying, and don't get stressed in the middle of the test.
And not only that doesn't only go for the critical care just because it has more disease process than fundamentals.
Not critical care.
It is critical.
Med-surg?
When you take the whole book, it's called the critical care test. Well, no, the med-surg test, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, people.
Yeah, critical, yeah.
But what I was going to say, you're sweating throughout the whole test, but ATI and even, I'm not a nurse yet, obviously, but from what I heard when people take the NCLEX, it's all about strategizing on Maslow's level of hierarchy, your ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation, vitals, and knowing what's the best answer. And I know everybody's tired. Everybody's tired of hearing that, oh, it's the best answer, but there truly is the best answer. And sometimes they'll question it with a lab value. They'll question it with, 2 priorities that are used for a disease or a specific.
What's most important?
My strategy that I use for my test taking, even if I'm doing ATI or not, I usually read the answers before I read the question. That way I can kind of see, okay, I kind of think I know what they're going to ask me. Then I read the question. So when I'm reading the question, I kind of get an idea of some of those answers I can kind of knock out of the board and, get those 2 possible answers, giving you a 50-50 chance of passing this exam.
What I like to do too is, when I'm reading the question, I try to put myself in the patient situation.
Always treat any question, whether it's ATI based or test that you're taking in your school, don't take it as a question. Always put in perspective, okay, my patient is going through this. What can I do? What is the most critical thing that I can do right now to stabilize my patient or to help my patient? And even if the question isn't about a priority base, you always have to make sure that you go back to your skills. And math. I will say I had a few math questions will come and haunt you, so always stay on top of your math, whether you have your med calculation exams every term. Even in between that, just make sure you're still calculating, you're still knowing and not forgetting your formulas, because that is key too. Those are easy gimme questions for sure.
Yeah. Well, that was a quick run through ATI, and video is probably a little bit longer than we expected it to be, but we can get around sometimes. Until next time. She has the GoFundMe. She's going to Kenya in September. So go check out our other video and please help us out. We really want to get her to Kenya. I'm excited and a little bit jealous that I'm not able to go. But
Get these ATI books, you guys.
Peace.